Well, hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave, and this is the Avios Super Tucano. Let's take her out the field. We only had the one maiden flight in. The weather got us out of there, but we're going to take her out today, and we're going to fly her. We're going to get a couple of flights in, hopefully get you some grass hops and a speed run, and just have some fun. We'll meet you out there. Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. All right, this is going to be the second flight ever in the air of the Avios Tucano, Super Tucano, sent to me by HobbyKing for review. This will be the second time I've ever had her up in the air. Let's get her up and get this second flight in the books. And it is gotten kind of windy, but that don't matter. The wind don't really matter. Oh. All right, timer set for 6.
Don't let it bite you.
All right, listen to this.
Motor is so very chill. Touch it. Motor is angry. Don't let it bite you.
All right, high rates. Timer set for 6.5 minutes. Will not need takeoff flaps, that's for sure. Wind is out of the southwest, and this is a west to east runway, looking from this perspective. All right. Turn around here. Now hopefully the wind will stay kind of more towards directly out of the west. That would be great. All right, here we go.
The gear is tucked away.
Running a Turnigy heavy duty 6.2 milliamp or 6200 milliamp 6S, sent to me by HobbyKing for review, along with the plane.
Remaining 6 minutes.
We're going to take it out now. Snap roll is not a problem. Very smooth flying plane. All right.
Time remaining 5 minutes.
All right.
The gear is down.
Down.
You lose her?
No, I don't know where she's at.
Oh. Well, we're coming in for a landing.
That AS3X mode.
All right. Enough hot dogging around.
Remaining 4 minutes.
I decided just to tease the ground there.
Landing flaps. Flaps are up.
Great flying plane. Absolutely fabulous flying plane. Very stable and predictable. All right. Well, since we're in the grass, let's go ahead and get turned around, get into the wind here.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
So look how that suspension just reacts with that rough terrain. All right. For you guys got grass fields,
Takeoff flaps.
now you're definitely going to use takeoff flaps in this. You want to get up out of that turf as quick as possible. There you go.
Flaps are up.
All right, let's get turned around here and land in that grass. Remember, throttle and rudder are your #1 controls, with throttle being your #1 control for landing. There you go. Grass actually will make your landing look better than it actually is. And pavement, and geotech actually, which is what our runway is made up of here, has some give to it. But pavement, however, is completely unforgiving. Alrighty, let's get turned around here. Alright, we'll do takeoff flaps again. Don't really need it, but with this wind, but gonna do it anyways.
Flaps are up.
Just lift right off, pretty as you please.
Tucked away.
All right, make a nice low pass down the runway. There we go.
The gear is down.
I can see my gear. If you're not sure about your gear, do a gear pass. Always do a gear pass if you're not sure. But when you got good visibility and you can clearly see that they're down, then go ahead and go for your landing. No flaps this time. No flaps. There. Now if I had landed, I have the hardest time landing from the east there, because something about the way that hill is down there messes with my depth perception. We're going to do one more takeoff and landing, and then we'll get you a battery report. All right. Get away.
Takeoff flaps.
One more. As pretty as you please.
Flaps are up. First landing flaps.
All right.
Seconds. 10.
There we go.
Flaps are up.
Reminds me a lot of landing my large T-28 that I used to have. Bringing them flaps in, just kind of just windsurfing, finding that right pocket of air with the right amount of throttle versus the down deflection of them flaps, and then just kind of riding that wave in. Not something you can do overnight. It takes a lot of practice, but a lot of fun if you can find that right pocket of air. All right.
Motor is so very chill. Touch it.
All right, let's get you a battery report. 10 seconds left on a 6-minute and 30-second timer. Love the battery hatch on this thing. All right. Yes, no KM model afterburner. 53%, my goodness. But, so really, 6.5 minutes, give me 53%. Set your timer for 8 minutes, fly the way you want. Come back at probably 25%. Well, folks, there you go. That is the Super Tucano sent to me by HobbyKing for review. Thank you, HobbyKing. Great flying plane. A little pricey. She's $550 right now, but HobbyKing cannot keep them in stock. That should tell you something about the popularity of this plane. We'll go over the rates and everything back in the man cave after the second flight, or second or third flight, or however many we get in. We'll see you there. God is good. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then Tucanos. Bye-bye. Hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. All right, we're going to take up the Super Tucano sent to me by HobbyKing. We're going to do I got my GNS performance analyzer in there. We're going to get a speed run. I'm going to give you a speed run into the wind, and then we're going to cheat and do a speed run with the wind and land after each time and get a reading. And then we'll just finish the flight for fun. So we're going to start.
Motor is angry. Don't let it bite you.
All right, I am reading. Okay.
Motor is so very chill. Touch it.
Okay.
Motor is angry. Don't let it bite you.
Let's get turned around here. Like I said, we're going to do the first speed run into the wind and land. Okay. All right, here we go.
The gear is tucked away.
All right, this is going to be into the wind now.
Time remaining 6 minutes.
All right.
Gear is down.
Like I said, that was into the wind.
Landing flaps. Flaps are up.
All right. Now you have to, with a GNS performance analyzer, you got to be physically close to the vehicle. All righty.
Motor is so very chill. Touch it.
Put my butt in your face, I'm sorry. Stop. Read. All right. 76 mile an hour. 76 mile an hour. All right. We're going to start it again. Let me make sure I've got.
Motor is angry. Don't let it bite you.
All right, it's reading. Okay, let's get turned around here. Now we're going to do a speed run with the wind, and then for giggles, we might do one in a hard dive. I think we can turn around right there. This thing gets up off the ground pretty quick.
Take off flaps.
Alrighty, here we go.
Flaps are up. The gear is tucked away.
Alright, that's not the speed run. I'm gonna get turned around here.
Time remaining 5 minutes.
Turn out towards the road. All right, here we go. All right.
The gear is down. Take off flaps. Braking. Cruise mode. Flaps are up.
Okay, that was funny. Well, the brakes work real well. All right.
Braking. Cruise motor is so very chill.
Okay. All right, let's see where. Yeah, I've got set where free wheel or free turns there. Not bad. 94 mile an hour. 94. All right. Now, just for fun, I know it's not performance, but let's take it up, put in a hard dive with the wind, and see if we can't break that 100 mile an hour barrier. All right.
Take off flaps.
Here we go.
Flaps are up. The gear is tucked away.
All right. Get her turned around here. Go back the other direction. Take it out here to the road. Take it up. And here we go. I don't think we broke 100 mile an hour, but we got pretty close to it.
The gear is down.
Let's do a nice gear pass here. This is the third time I've ever flown the plane, just so you know. And even in the bright sunshine, I can see, that green nav light. All right.
Landing flaps.
That's 2 landings for the price of 1. I had too steep of an approach there. But no harm, no foul. Pa's going to get a reprimand though.
Braking. Cruise mode. Flaps are up.
All right. And to be honest, I don't even need to be using flaps right now. But I like the way she looks. Up, 94 mile an hour again, still 94. All right, let's just finish our flight for fun now. Just for fun. Still got 2.5 minutes. Do some low passes. Phenomenal flying plane. Now I can understand what all the hype is and why they can't keep this plane in stock. Incredible flying plane. All right, no takeoff flaps this time, just straight.
The gear is tucked away.
Take it up. tumbler. Well, snap roll. Poor pies just soil themselves.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Phenomenal flying plane. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's make the same pass, but with the gear down.
The gear is down. The gear is 1 minute.
All right,
The gear is down.
let's do a touch and go. And then we'll bring it in for our final. There.
30 seconds.
Wind is really messing with her.
20 seconds.
All right, I'll land. We're going to pretend our flaps don't work. The hydraulics are out on the flaps. Don't have any choice but to land with no flaps.
Braking. Cruise mode.
There we go.
Greg land the Super Tucano now.
I cheat a little bit and let the grass be my brake. All right.
Motor is so very chill. Touch it.
Actually, nothing left on the timer. Full 6.5 minutes, 0 time left. A lot of speed runs and up and downs and all kinds of good stuff, takeoffs and landings. Let's see what kind of life is left, what kind of juice is left in the tank. 45%. Like I said before, put a 5,000 in there, 7,000 in there, 10,000 in there. Fly for 8 minutes. I just set up for 6.5 because attention span of audiences. Well, folks, there you go. That is the HobbyKing Super Tucano. That was my speed run. Watch my other videos for all the rates and everything. But thank you so much, HobbyKing, for letting me review it for you. I'm absolutely blown away with the quality of it, the way it flies. It handles this wind like a champ, and I'm very pleased. All right, folks. Don't forget, folks, faith, family, and friends, God is good, and Super Tucanos from HobbyKing. Bye, y'all. Hey, folks. Boy, we had fun, didn't we? I tell you what, this is the Avios Super Tucano. We had a great time flying today. Did get some grass stops. I think one in, one out. Land, took off in the grass one time. Got a speed run. I don't remember the numbers. I'll put it in the video. When I edit the video, I'll say it and I'll put it up on the screen. I want to say it was like 70 something with straight and level, and then 80 something with the wind, and I think maybe 90 something with a dive with the wind. I don't remember, but oh, excuse me. Great flying plane. There's a reason why HobbyKing keeps selling these planes out. They'll get an inventory and then they're gone. They'll get an inventory, then they're gone. And I understand now. I was very hesitant when it first came out. I'm like, I don't know. That's a lot of money, $500. And now it's $550 because, well, we all know why. But I want to tell you something. After having 3 flights on this, 3, it's worth every penny. Even at 549, it's worth every penny. Now, full disclosure, I didn't buy this plane. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not buy this plane, but you can see I've got plenty of planes in here. I got over 50 grand in this room of planes I have paid for. But this particular one I did not pay for. HobbyKing contacted me and they said, we'd like you to review some planes for us. And I'm like, sure. They said, what would you like? This was the first thing I said. I said, I'd like to have the Super Tucano. And then I said, and then anything else. Well, they sent me out this one. They sent the Super Tucano out. They sent the Rare Bear. And they sent out the HobbyKing Viper, the 64 Viper, all at one time. And I'm like, thank you. So I don't know what to say. They contacted me out of the blue and said, would you do this? And I'm like, sure. Now I said, any special things about the video? They said, no, just do it the way you've always done your way. We watched your channel, the way you do your channel, the way you do your reviews, do them that way. And I'm like, okay. So don't pull any punches. If it's crap, say it's crap. It's great. It's great. Just review the plane, put it on the channel and that's what we want. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. They said, oh, and by the way, we're going to send you a battery with the plane. So I'm like, okay. Folks, I don't know what to tell you. I'm very blessed is the only thing I can say. Well, so enough of that. They sent this out for review, and I had actually had this in my cart a couple of times. I was going to buy it, and every time I went to buy it, it was out of stock. So I got one. I'm happy, and I'm just thrilled about how I got it. Well, anyways, okay. Big honking latch, okay? Big honking latch. Look at the detail. Just look at the detail in there. The pilots and all their, it's just phenomenal. She's got reverse thrust. Okay, let's talk about CG. As you can see, maybe you can't see. Let me tilt the plane up. This is not an easy plane to maneuver in the man cave. Okay, XT90 connector. Okay, but see where pay attention to where I've got that 6200 Turnigy heavy duty. Okay, look at where those straps are. I can't point at because I'm holding the plane. But that's where she CG's great, right there, with a 6200. So there is room to go further forward if you had a lighter pack like a 5000, but I can't go back any further. I'm all the way at the very back as far as where I can physically put the plane. CG on the plane, throttle cut is on. I got it written on the bottom, okay, is 70 to 80 millimeters back from the leading edge root. And there's a panel line. You see up underneath here, there's a panel line right there. It's on the 70 is right in front of it, towards the front, and the 80 is on the rear, right behind it. So feel for that line. And that's where she CG's at. Put your finger on that line and that's dead center. So it's great because you can easily feel it. And I want her to be, it's a warbird. So I want her to be a little on the nose heavy side. So if I put it right in front of that line, she's more level, but if I put my fingers on that line, she starts to favor nose heavy. Nose heavy. So that's what I want. So really about 75 is about perfect as far as CG. 75 millimeters back from the leading edge of the wing. Okay, let's get her turned around here, if I can. Because this, like I said, this is not an easy plane to maneuver and move around in the man cave. I want to show you the rates of how I flew and what that physically looks like. Okay, like I said, secure prop cutoff, prop, whatever you want to call it, is on, so the prop doesn't work. Okay. All right. Set it right there. Let me move you back just a touch so you can take in everything on the plane. All right, we talked about CG. Let's talk about the rates that I flew in. Well, you know what, we'll go with flaps first. I'm all over the place. Flaps, there is a mix, and this is for me. Flaps up are a negative 100%. Okay. Takeoff flaps is 0%.
Takeoff flaps.
Okay, with a 5% down elevator mix. Landing is a positive 100% with a 12% down elevator mix. So put your eyeballs on that elevator.
Takeoff flaps.
And you can just barely see it moving.
Takeoff flaps.
It's not much. Okay, but I found that mix to be perfect. She seems to be nice. She slows right down, very controllable. And in today's wind, I really didn't even need to use flaps, but I wanted to, just to show you can. But talk about the flying rates. I flew in my high rates the entire time. Now, I need to go on there and mechanically give myself more throw on the elevator. But so until I do that, I increased the throw on the elevator to 115 electronically. I felt like she was a little anemic on the way I had at 100%, so I went to 115. Now, I'm going to go in there and mechanically adjust it if I can. I haven't really looked at it. If I can get more throw mechanically, and then I'll return the resolution back to 100%, and it'll be a more true representation, and it'll work better. Now that's on elevator with 30% expo. Aileron 100%, 30% expo, and rudder I have it at 100%, but with 40% expo. The nose wheel gyro, which I have because I have an AS3X Plus receiver. I actually, before I even started flying today, just went out there and removed it. Just zeroed it out. Didn't even use it because couldn't quite get it dialed in the way I wanted it to. I'll go back and reactivate it and try it again, but she did fine even with the wind coming down the runway, and it was a little bit cross breeze, so I may not even really bother with it. My forward program, my AS3X, to show you my settings on that. The gains I did change the gains. Okay, my roll is at 35% for roll. Now that you're seeing it now. Pitch is at 40, and yaw was at 50. Okay. Priority on roll, pitch, and yaw, 120, 130, and 140. Yaw is the only one I didn't change. Heading I did nothing with. The stop lock, I took everything to 50. I like to have a nice crisp lock. And then I didn't do anything with the release rate, all at 55, 55, and 75. Gain sensitivity is set at 1. Unlike the rare bear that you do at half. I'm not trying to confuse you. But, all right, and like I said, the nose wheel gyro, I just did away with it. And I'll go back and I may play with it, but really it didn't seem to really need it. I think I was just overthinking it, and I really didn't, which I do almost everything. Talked about CG, we talked about rates. There's just so many things about this plane that you can't cover you gotta have several videos to cover everything. It's just a phenomenal plane. The hype is earned. The hype is earned. This is not a hype up a great plane and then it's like, well, it's not really all that special. No. The hype is there for a reason, and it's validated. This plane is awesome. This plane is absolutely awesome. I've got 3 flights on her now. And each time, I know it's only 3 flights, I'm a little more of a feel for it, and I'm realizing just how awesome this plane is. I explored some of the slower flight today. The grass ops, it didn't even know it was in the grass. It didn't even know it was taken off from the grass. It couldn't. And our grass is just, it's been raining a lot lately, and it's just muddy and nasty and uneven. The suspension it didn't even phase it. But make sure you use takeoff flaps when you get up out of the grass. You want to get, the more you're in the grass, the more life you're taking off your gear. And that's just been my experience. So just get out of the grass as quick as you can. But look at this gear. Look at the operation of it. So it's not super fast, but definitely not super slow either. Okay. You've got great ground clearance. You've got lights all over. These nav lights, especially the green light, because when I was going down the run, bright sunny day today, and I could see that green nav light on this wing easily. Now, notice by the shark teeth, there's no light by the nose or by the teeth, but then you go on this side, there's that bright light there in the back of the jaw there. So obviously that's how the real one is, because this is modeled right after the Philippine Air Force Super Tucano. But folks, I can't say, oh, and there, look at like a little thing right this. These little vents here, this opens into the motor. This opens in to cool your electronics. That's functional. Those things help cool off your electronics. Little things like this. Avios, they did their research. They did their research on what makes a good RC foam plane, and they delivered. And I'm please believe me when I tell you, I'm not just saying it because they sent me the plane. Okay. If I misrepresent something for just for the sake of selling a plane or pushing a plane, then you're not going to come back and listen to me again. There goes my integrity, and there's no point in having this channel if I can't be honest about these things. I cannot find any fault in this plane. A lot of people had a problem with the prop not balancing. Mine was balanced right off the bat. I had no one. I put on my Dubros. Well, actually, this isn't Dubros, but I put on the balance prop balancer. I cannot talk. No one blade was favored. They all set quietly and evenly on as I turned the blade around, and never favored one blade. I did have to, if I remember, I did have to calibrate the ESC, but that's just a matter of unplugging your battery, have your radio on, put your throttle at full throttle, turn your throttle cut off, plug in your battery, and listen to your ESCs. And after you hear the ESC go two solid, beep, beep, lower your throttle all the way down, and that records the high and the low range. The ESC remembers, okay, what's full throttle and what's not full throttle. Because if you don't do that, you will bump the throttle just a little bit, and about a third, maybe a quarter on here on throttle, and you won't have any response until you get past the quarter part where you actually feel some response. So you're losing that much throttle. So you do need to calibrate the ESC, but that's not hard to do. You can do it. You can do it at the field. I am running, I can never remember the numbers. I'm sorry. I am running a Spectrum, a brand new one, AR8360T receiver. Not running a satellite, but I do have that 8-channel receiver because I wanted to have thrust reverse and I wanted to use the nose wheel gyro. And I'll be honest, receivers are expensive. This plane doesn't necessarily need that nose wheel gyro. But I do like the reverse thrust. It does. This plane has some weight and needs a little bit of a rollout, unless you're in the grass. So I may just swap that receiver out, and that's a $150 receiver. I can use it in a more expensive jet or something, and then I just may put a 7-channel Lemon RX with understand. Right behind you that you can't see right now, I've got my Free Wing version 2 80mm A10. Okay, $779 plane before the tariff price. Okay, I trust that plane with a 10-channel Lemon RX Gen 2. Okay, I trust that plane with that, and I have flown the dog mess so far with that plane on that receiver. I've had zero problems. So would I trust the 7-channel Lemon RX in this? Yes, I would, and that's probably what I'll end up doing, and use that receiver in something else. Anyways, okay, well, I've rambled on enough, I think. This is an awesome flying plane. Enjoy the flight with 2 flights we got. We had some grass ops. We got a speed run in there, and I'm absolutely blown away with this plane. It's worth the hype. It's worth the hype. It validates the hype. It's worth the money, and I'm just very happy with it. Folks, thank you so much for watching. There'll be a link in the description of the video for the purchase if they're in stock. Remember, HobbyKing, they get them out and they sell them all out, and then they put more and they sell them all out. So just keep an eye on that. Please use my link. Yes, it's an affiliate link, and pick up this plane. Christmas is coming, You know, here it is in the middle of May, so you know they're going to start stocking it again because Christmas coming up. So, and I'm sure the HobbyKing, I don't know, I don't have any insider knowledge, but I'm sure HobbyKing will run some deals. They often do on their Black Friday. They'll usually take, you know, 30-40% off some of their planes. And they've done it every year that I've dealt with them so far, so I'm sure they'll do the same this year. But keep an eye out. God bless y'all. God is good. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good. And that's the Avios Super Tucano. Thank you, HobbyKing. See you later.